Hello, viewers. Are you couples or partners that have been hoping to get pregnant for quite a long time and it's not forthcoming? Yes, I want you to know that you are not alone. That is because the recent World Health Organization study shows that there have been a decline in fertility rate. All right? And that is why I've put up this video explaining how natural pregnancy takes place, because you have to understand what the natural process is for you to be able to comprehend what the pathology or the abnormality is in your body that is making you not to get pregnant, or that is making a couple not to get pregnant. All right. So, by way of introduction, I'm Dr. Paragon Uyoswe, a licensed medical practitioner from Nigeria. And I want to tell you in this video that there are four major factors that are needed or that must align for natural pregnancy to take place. All right. And these are the major factors, the four factors. First, ovulation. Two, sperm quality. Three, uterus or tuber patency. I will change it to tuber patency. That is, I will explain further. And the fourth one is timing. All right. So this video is not meant to replace your doctor or your fertility specialist, but it's meant for you to understand three things. One, for you to understand the natural process of pregnancy. And two, for you to know what your problem or the couple's or partner's problem is, where the problem is located, that is making them to be having difficulty in achieving pregnancy. And thirdly, is to enable you to understand or ask reasonable questions, to ask reasonable questions to your doctor whenever you go for your next clinic appointment. Okay? All right. So this is a diagram that depicts the female reproductive system. All right? And I will explain each part. Starting from here, this is the vagina, otherwise called the birth canal. All right? Okay? Then let's go here. This is the fallopian tube. This one here, the fallopian tube. And this is another fallopian tube. It therefore means that we have two fallopian tubes, the right and the left fallopian tubes. All right? Then, and this is the ovary. All right? We have two ovaries as well. This is also the ovary, the right and the left ovaries. Okay? And I want you to know that inside the ovary, there's follicles that develop during the menstrual cycle. All right? They develop gradually until they release their content, which is the egg. So the egg is within the follicle. All right? And the follicle is within the ovary. So the follicle will grow together with the egg. And then at a point in the menstrual cycle, it releases the egg. And that process is called ovulation. All right? I will explain further. So, and then the part between this fallopian tube here, apart from this fallopian tube, these two, and this is the vagina I said earlier. This other part is the uterus, okay, which is the womb, as some people may know it. And the womb has three parts. The part that is above the fallopian tube, this way, is the fundus. The part that goes into the vagina a little is called the cervix. And the other part below the fallopian tube and the cervix is called the body of the uterus. Okay? Now, if you understand this up to this point, I will add something else now. So, the first step is ovulation. Ovulation must take place from the ovaries. Okay? And I want you to know that ovulation is controlled by hormones that are released from the brain. Okay? The hormone goes into the bloodstream, signal the ovary so for the follicle to start developing, and hormone is also released from the brain to cause this ovulation to take place, for this mature follicle to release the content, which is the egg, all right, outside of the ovary. That is one. Okay, so ovulation must take place. Second, there have to be good sperm quality. When there's an interaction, which intercourse between a man and a woman, or the couples or the partners, semen is released into the vagina, all right, which is the birth canal. And I want you to know that semen It's not just it's a combination of seminal fluid and sperm. So seminal fluid plus sperm make up what is called semen. And I want you to know that the sperm are microscopic. They are usually located within the seminal fluid. They are microscopic. It means you cannot see it with your naked eye. So it doesn't mean that, yes, when you meet with your woman, you have semen was released. It doesn't mean that the semen must contain sperm. Sometimes it doesn't contain sperm, and sometimes it contains sperm, but the sperm are of poor qualities. All right. So you need to have a good quality sperm for fertilization to take place. All right. This is because when I mean good quality, the sperm has to be in much quantities. So that's referred to as the count, the number of sperm. Okay, I won't go into details. Then the sperm have to be normal. You can see this diagram. I'm showing the sperm, and this showing the sperm. The sperm has just one head, a body, and a tail. That is how it's supposed to be. But in some cases, some individuals may have most of their sperm having two heads, two body, or even two tails. These are called abnormal sperm. Okay, so this is what we refer to as the morphology of the sperm. Okay, apart from the count, the morphology. Then these sperm have to have strength to swim because they have to move actively because they have to cover a distance. Imagine if the length of the fallopian tube, the average length is about 10 centimeter. And considering the length of the uterus, which is about 8 to 9 centimeter for some people, all right? So the sperm have to swim this distance, almost covering close to 20 centimeter or 15 to 20 centimeter before they can meet the egg, all right? That is because when ovulation occurs and the egg is released, the egg that is released is carried by this finger-like projection on the end of the fallopian tube, okay, into the fallopian tube, on the beginning of the fallopian tube. The egg doesn't move much further, okay? The sperm have to be of good quality to swim to go and meet the egg inside the fallopian tube. So these tiny structures, they are called fimbriae. They carry the egg, just like me picking. After ovulation, let's say this is the ovary and the egg is released on top of the ovary. The finger-like projection carry it into the fallopian tube, all right? Okay, so there's an opening inside here. There's opening inside here, all right? So the third factor for natural pregnancy to take place is uterus or tuber patency, okay? Tuber patency, all right? It means that is the uterus open and is the fallopian tube open, all right? Because there are certain conditions where the uterus will not be open. The uterus is just like a hollow organ. It's an hollow organ. The inside will be open like this, but so the front and the back will be open. As in the inside will be open because the front is away from the back, all right? So, but in some conditions, the inside may be attached together, and we call that uteri adhesion, otherwise called uteri syneke, all right? It's not quite common, but it does occur, all right? So if this inside of the uterus is attached together, the sperm that is released into this vagina cannot move or swim upward because there is no opening here because the wall of the uterus are adhered together. That is one. Or occasionally, the one that is quite common is the fallopian tube. It may be blocked. If the fallopian tube is, let's say, is blocked, from this section is blocked, this area is blocked, or a long section of the fallopian tube is blocked, like this. You can see the sperm is swimming this way, and the egg was carried by the fimbriae into the fallopian tube here. The sperm and the egg cannot meet. In that case, let me remove this. Okay, let me leave it. The sperm and the egg can never meet if there's a blockage in the fallopian tube. And if they don't meet, fertilization cannot take place. That means pregnancy cannot occur. Natural pregnancy cannot occur. All right? So this is how this process occurs. And the last part of it is timing. Timing is very important. Even if a man has a good quality sperm, the woman's fallopian tube and the uterus are open, and the woman is ovulating. If This process of when the sperm is present and when the and active and alive, and when the eggs that are released is also active and alive, if the time do not coincide, nothing will happen. For instance, when the egg is released, the egg only lives for 12 to 24 hours. That is the lifespan of the egg, which is the ovum. The lifespan is 12 to 24 hours. After 24 hours, in most cases, even some as low as 12 hours, then the egg is no longer active. Okay. But on the other hand, the sperm has a longer lifespan inside the woman reproductive system. Okay. It can last for about 72 hours on the average. However, occasionally it can last up to 5 days in the female reproductive tract. All right. So, if, for instance, a woman ovulates, the man's quality is good, and the tube for the uterus and the tubes are well open, but the man, the couple, or the partners meet about 36 hours to 48 hours after this ovulation occurred. Nothing will still happen. So that is why timing is very important factor as well. So that is that. If you understood this aspect, then I want to use this other side of it to show what will happen after fertilization. Okay? Assuming fertilization has occurred that way, the process, what will happen after fertilization? I'm using this slide to demonstrate what could happen. When fertilization occurs, what is formed is zygote. So the egg and the sperm fuse together to become zygote, which is a single cell. After that, the zygote, starts splitting into 2, into 4, into 8, into 16. And as it does that, it gradually moves down back to the inside of the uterus. So in this case, it will be from the side of the same side from the where fertilization takes place. We move down backward, but I'm using this side because of the diagram. All right. So as it moves this way, this red part of the uterus is called the endometrium, the lining. Okay. Usually during the menstrual cycle, it becomes thicker and thicker, so that if pregnancy occurs, the zygote, which now turns to blastocyst, the name changes as it moves, be easily attached. So when this blastocyst attaches to the lining, which is the endometrium of the uterus, okay, that process of attachment is called implantation, all right? And when implantation has occurred, it means pregnancy has occurred. This blastocyst, and that case, after implantation, the blastocyst will change the name to embryo. So after implantation, it becomes an embryo. The embryo starts producing a hormone called HCG, actually beta HCG. HCG stands for human chorionic gonadotropin. All right. So, and this is what is present in the blood and also in the urine that can be used as a pregnancy that you test when you are doing pregnancy test. You test for beta HCG. So this is how the natural pregnancy occurs. And then, so you know that if ovulation does not occur, which the problem can be from the ovary or from the brain that controls the ovary or from other glands in the body, such as the thyroid gland and others that can affect the hormone that are in the brain that actually are supposed to signal the ovaries. Then anything that makes ovulation not to take place, natural pregnancy cannot take place. And then if you have poor quality sperm that cannot swim up, or there's no sperm at all, or they are very abnormal and cannot swim up to go and meet the egg, even if ovulation takes place, if you have poor quality sperm, natural pregnancy cannot also occur. Then even if ovulation takes place and the sperm are of good quality, if the inside of the tube or fallopian tube like this or the uterus are blocked, it means the sperm and the egg cannot reach each other. And if they don't reach each other, fertilization cannot take place. And lastly, if all this process, even if everything is sperm is good, ovulation is okay, the uterus and the fallopian tubes are open, and if this was not done the proper time, such that the egg that is released during ovulation and the sperm are active and are able to reach each other. When they are still active, natural pregnancy cannot take place. I believe with this video, once you visit your fertility specialist and you have been, some things have been explained to you, it will be easy for you to understand what they are saying, and also you'll be able to know the right questions to ask them so that you can get a proper feedback from them. And this will be aimed at solving your fertility issues. So please don't feel shy to ask questions when you visit your doctor. And there's anything you don't understand, please, in this video, you can ask your question in the comment section. I'll be willing to respond to them. And there's any video that you want me to also make, I will try my best to make such video. And I want to promise you that I will be talking about each of these steps separately, okay? Ovulation and the abnormality that can take place, sperm quality and the abnormality, and the uterus and tubal patency and the abnormality that can occur, and the tests that can be done, and then the timing, all right? I will talk about them each of them in a separate video. So please do well to share this video so that others can benefit, and then also drop your comment again in the comment section. Then subscribe to this channel, please. It will help me a lot to grow the channel. Thank you.